Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, Capri Sun, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Mango.org, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, Olive Garden, Sports Authority, and Wilson Trophy Company. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, Capri Sun, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Mango. Welcome to Boise, Idaho for the U.S. Youth Soccer Region 4 Regional Championship, being brought to you today by Turbo Sports Group. Tom Purvis welcoming you to the massive Simplot Soccer Complex, where we have a gem of a match this morning. Roca out of Utah and the Rio Rapids out of New Mexico, with a trip to the national championships in Tulsa, Oklahoma on the line. And as you can see, the teams making their way to center field right now. We are just about set to get things underway. Both teams with pretty impressive resumes coming into this game. First, let's take a look at the Rio Rapids out of New Mexico. They are six-time defending state champions out of course the state of New Mexico. They to get here, they went 1-0-1, that being a win, no losses, and one tie in Pool D. They won Pool D, and they actually beat this Roca team 3-0 back on Tuesday. More about that matchup in just a second here. But these teams have already played once. They were in the same pool, and both of them have emerged out of that Pool D to the championship game today, again in Region 4. And again, the winner of this game punched their bid to the national championships in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So a lot riding on this game today. Both teams very excited. I was talking to the coaches before the game, was talking to the coach for La Roca, and he was telling me that, you know, the players have been playing pretty much every day leading up to this point, from basically, I think the tournament started, pool play started here on Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday, the teams have been playing pretty much a game a day since then. So these teams have been playing a lot of soccer. Obviously, soccer takes a lot of stamina, so though the teams may be a little bit tired, the emotion that is riding in this game, if you aren't ready for this game, then you aren't going to be ready for anything. So both teams very excited. The Rio Rapids, they beat Santa Clara Sporting 96 2-1 in the quarterfinals on Friday, and then beat BNSC Premier out of Idaho 2-1 in the semifinal yesterday to advance to this point. Their top scorer is number 15, a junior, Jordan Lacey, and most of the players on this team are seniors, and they've already committed to play college soccer somewhere. But Lacey is only a junior, but again, the leading scorer in this tournament with 3 goals, and she definitely one of the key players for this team. Again, only a junior, though, so she has verbal, but she has not committed anywhere yet. Jordan Lacey has verbal to the University of Texas at San Antonio, but most of these players have already committed somewhere, as we are just about to get underway here. La Roca, they went 1-1-0 in Pool D. They finished second in the pool. Of course, the lone loss came to the Rio Rapids 3-0 on Tuesday. They beat the CDA Sting Premier 4-0 in the quarterfinals, and then they beat Eastside SC Red out of Washington 4-1 in the semifinals yesterday to advance to this point. Again, that is La Roca. They're out of the state of Utah. Roca, 5-time defending state champions. Both teams just about ready to go. Roca typically playing in a 4-3-3 formation with Rio Rapids coming back at them with a 4-5-1. And we are underway. And we'll have to see early on in the first game between these two teams, the coach for Rio told me that Rio actually outshot Roca in the, or rather Roca outshot Rio in the loss, but really it was Rio who converted pretty much every chance that they got. So really the big talking point today for Roca, just got to finish our opportunities. And it looks like we will have an early corner kick for the Rio Rapids. Ball is crossed in the middle. It is headed out of play, and we have a call, and it is going to be Rio ball, Rio possession. Again, Region 4 championship today between Roca out of Utah and the Rio Rapids out of New Mexico. Both of these teams very impressive resumes as the ball jockeyed back and forth at midfield. So mostly Roca has been able to keep it on the offensive side of the field as Rio on the defense right now, and it looks like we have a foul called. And so possession will go back to Roca. Temperature is supposed to get up to nearly 108 degrees today as the ball is up into the air. Headed down towards the Roca defense and then kicked back up the sideline, and it is kept in bounds by Rio. Rio on the attack. That is Becca Mazie with the ball, and now they kick it into the middle. And it looks like Roca has gained possession. Now here's Rio with it back. Mariah Baker. And now they're going to get it back to the keeper. Goalkeeper for Roca is Nikki Pittman. Now here's a great opportunity for Roca. They put it on frame, and it goes in. A goal scored early on by Roca as they take a 1-0 lead. What a shot that was. A breakaway by Avery Collins, and that is her third goal of the tournament. And we're going to take another look at it here. You can see the beautiful left-handed shot by Collins. Her third goal of the tournament, puts it right on frame. It hits that right of the goalpost and then goes in. So a 1-0 lead early on for Roca. Now remember, Roca, they lost to Rio 3-0 the first time these teams met, but since then, Roca has scored 4 goals a game. Since the knockout round, Roca has scored 4 goals a game. Roca beat the CDA Sting Premier 4-0 in the quarterfinal, and then beat Eastside SC Red out of Washington 4-1 in the semi yesterday. So already a goal for Roca. And early on in this game, you just get the sense that Roca more on the attack than Rio, as Rio back on their heels a little bit. And once again, it is in the Rio side of the field. A 1-0 lead for Roca off the goal by Avery Collins, the left-handed, left-footed shot, putting it into the back right-handed corner of the goal. Here's a throw-in by Roca. And it is once again Collins who has possession. Now it's played into the box. Another shot on goal. That time, I believe, it was Eden Jacobson who took the shot, but that time it was stopped by Rio. The goalie for the Rio Rapids is Adriana Chavez. Now here's La Roca with possession once more. They play it back and forth. Christiana Benken plays it across. And now here is Ellie Hall. Hall trying to get it in, loses possession. There's a fight for it, and La Roca comes up with it. Here's Hall once again. Hall plays it across. Save made by Adriana Chavez. Second save now by Chavez. You can already see a trend developing, though. 3 shots on goal so far by La Roca and none for the Rio Rapids. And again, La Roca outshot the Rio. Now here's again a Hall playing it ahead. Hall, nice job driving the ball ahead to her teammate as she was looking for Maddie Garlock. But the ball smartly knocked out of contention by Rio. Played in from the corner. Here is Avery Collins. Collins ended well by Rio. That's Mariah Baker, who was able to knock it out of play. And now it will be a corner kick for La Roca. Here's the cross from the corner. It's played up. Nice and high ball. But it bends away from the goal and out of bounds, and Rio will have possession. So again, to summarize what's happened so far, a 1-0 lead for La Roca off the beautiful left-footed shot by Avery Collins, her 3rd goal of the tournament. We are in the 7th minute here, the Region 4 Championships in Boise, Idaho, this massive Simplot soccer complex as the ball is played to midfield. Here's Ellie Hall. Ellie Hall for La Roca, able to knock it into Rio territory. Now here's Christiana Benken. Benken playing it back and forth with her teammate, Lauren Gibson, into the backfield. Anderson. They play it back and forth. La Roca, more of a possession team as they like to keep the ball and just look for their opportunities. Now here's a nice header by Cassie Boren of Rio, playing it out of bounds. And La Roca will get set to put it back in play. Here's Christiana Benken. La Roca already 3 shots on goal, none so far for the Rio Rapids. As Benken plays it into the box, and it's knocked away by Dominique Rivera. Now up the left sideline, running, that is, not sure who that is. And now here's Lisa Stowe playing it back up the right sideline. A battle for possession, and La Roca comes away with it. Here's Maddie Garlock. Garlock with 2 goals already from the tournament, but she has it taken away by Rio. Now at midfield, here's Amelia Byerly. Byerly has it taken away, and now La Roca has it back, again in the Rio Rapids side of the field. Played into the box, knocked out. Nice header by Cassie Boren. And now Rio momentarily will have possession. Rio took advantage of every opportunity in the first meeting between these two teams. They did not have a lot of shots on goals, but they converted the ones that they did, again, en route to a 3-0 win. But again, early on, it's a 1-0 lead for La Roca out of Utah. Nice play ahead, but the defensive stop made by La Roca, and now Ellie Hall plays it back to her teammate. And now over the midfield line, and La Roca will push. Here's Avery Collins with that left foot. She had the left-footed beauty in the first couple of minutes that put La Roca up 1-0. And now here's Rio with it. Now La Roca again. Lauren Gibson once again to Avery Collins. Collins attacking from the left side and has it knocked away by Cassie Boren. And it should be a corner kick coming for La Roca. La Roca felt very confident coming into today's game because they had taken so many more shots. I'm not sure what the exact numbers were, but they had outshot the Rio Rapids in that first meeting, but they just weren't able to come away with a goal. Now here's the corner. Played in, high up, ball is loose in the box, and it's knocked out by Rio, but it is now controlled by Christiana Benkin. Benkin up top to Lexi Sims. Sims plays the ball to the right, and now LaRocca will reset. Sims trying to play it in, knocked by Caitlin Acosta, and it goes out of bounds. So LaRocca will throw in from the far sideline. It's played in, and it comes to Avery Collins. Collins will attack from the right side, going hard, plays it into the box. There's a trip in the box, no call. A shot by LaRocca, and it goes just to the right of the frame. A good opportunity, and the fourth shot on goal for LaRocca. They have been able to come away with one goal so far out of those 4 shots. So Rio will have it. Rio plays it ahead in this beautiful day here in Boise, Idaho. And again, it is supposed to get very hot today, but I think these games will be about finished up before it gets up to around the 108 degrees that it's supposed to get to. Bit of a battle for possession along the far sideline, and now an aggressive play upfield by LaRocca. Now a nice header by Christiana Benkin. And LaRocca has possession on the attack. It's Lauren Gibson. Gibson plays it ahead to her teammate, but a little too much on the ball played towards the far right sideline, and it goes across the touchline. And Rio will throw it in. Here's Tristan Spooner. Spooner loses possession, and LaRocca has it. Eden Jacobson plays it to Avery Collins. Collins back to Jacobson. Jacobson now makes a move to the right, loops around towards the right side, and then has her ball kicked back over her head, out of bounds. LaRocca will maintain possession. 1-0. LaRocca with the early goal in the first couple of minutes by Avery Collins. The left foot shot that went across the goal to the right of the frame, bounced off the goalpost on the right side and then in. Almost immediate score for LaRocca, and LaRocca has been on the attack this entire game. Rio has to find a way to get it into the LaRocca side of the field. Rio has not really even had the ball in the last third of the field so far in this game, and now as I say that, they are on the attack. Here's Tristan Spooner. She plays it ahead. And now Samantha Alfonso with a shot on goal, and it's off the mark to the right of the frame. And Nikki Pittman will pick it up for LaRocca. Pittman in goal. That was really the first time that the Rio Rapids had been able to get any kind of look at the goal, and it was actually a decent one that time by Samantha Alfonso. Alfonso able to hit. Here's Pittman. She kicks it upfield, and the pass intercepted by Sabrina Ruiz. Ruiz across the formation, but LaRocca able to get it back. Played back and forth in the backfield between Christiana Benken and Ellie Hall. Rio still trying to get in there and get a shot at things. Now LaRocca will push it up the field. A counterattack by LaRocca. Here's Ellie Hall. Near sideline. She plays it across. And the ball knocked away by Rio. Battle for the ball at midfield. 2 players go down. And it looks like we have a foul called on LaRocca. So the Rio Rapids will have possession. Here's Rio playing it in. Sabrina Ruiz playing it into the box, but really no threat on the shot as LaRocca will bring it back out. Here's Kelsey Anderson. Anderson plays it across to her teammate, and now over the midfield line, they have it. But Rio safely clears it to the goalie. Now here's Rio looking to get back on the attack. Sabrina Ruiz plays it ahead. Nice pass ahead to teammate Samantha Alfonso, but just a little bit too far out in front of her. And Kelsey Anderson able to clear it away. These teams met in pool. Both teams arose to this point out D. And La Roca, though they outshot Rio, La Roca was on the losing end of a 3-0. Rio ended up winning the pool. They tied the other game that they played. But once La Roca made it into the knockout round, they have just been crushing the competition. They had a 4-0 win in the quarterfinals and then a 4-1 win yesterday. Here's Amelia Byerly with a left-footed shot on frame, but it is knocked away. And now La Roca will bring it back the other way. A couple of shots now on goal for Rio as they have looked aggressive in these last couple of minutes. Here's the Roca playing it ahead, and Rio once again able to knock it back into the La Roca side of the field. Now the ball makes it past one of the Rio defenders, but it is once again cleared away. Dominique Rivera plays it ahead to teammate Jasmine Baca. Some physical play over on that far sideline, and we have a foul called against the Rio Rapids. And that's Jazara Baca with the foul on her. And it will be a free kick for La Roca. Here's the ball played straight downfield. It gets through a couple, and now here's Avery Collins. Collins heads it towards the left side, but it is cleared out by Rio. It will be La Roca ball. Christiana Benken looking to throw it in for La Roca. La Roca out of the state of Utah. They are 5-time defending state champions. The Rio Rapids, on the other hand, 6-time defending state champions out of the state of New Mexico. Of course, a lot riding, not just the bragging rights of a championship, but the opportunity to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and compete for the national championship. That is on the line here today between these two teams. A grudge match after the two teams met in Pool D. La Roca, the early aggressors in this game. They had quite a few shots on goal early, was able to convert one of them. Of course, the goal by Avery Collins, her third goal of the tournament, so she now leads the teams in goals for the tournament. But the other player who has scored a couple of goals for La Roca is Maddie Garlock. But talking to the coach before the game, this really is a very balanced team, this La Roca team. They got 6 or 7 players who are able to score, and it's one of the things that really make them dangerous. Head coach of the Rio Rapids in his first year with the club is Chris Brennan. And then for La Roca, it's Pancho Ovale. Ball played into the box, and a header to the left of the frame. But I believe it may be a corner kick upcoming for Rio, and it will be. So Rio with really their first great opportunity here in this first half as Dominique Rivera will play it in from the corner. Rivera crosses it in. It's up in the air, and it's out of play. Went behind the goalpost. So the shot really not a great chance to go in. And La Roca escapes unscathed from that one. As Nikki Pittman in goal for La Roca will get set to kick it away. But La Roca, the early aggressors in this game, but really for the last several minutes, Rio has kind of turned the tables, and they've kept it on the La Roca side of the field more. So we'll see if La Roca can start attacking once again as the ball kicked away by the Rio Rapids. So La Roca will get set to play it in. Christiana Benken plays it into Kelsey Anderson. Anderson crosses it in the backfield to Lisa Stowe. And now here's Avery Collins. Collins on the attack, but it has it stolen by the Rio Rapids. And now Rio will try and push it back the other way. Here's Mariah Baker. Baker plays it into center field to Sabrina Ruiz. Ruiz turns and dribbles it back the other way. Pursued. Now into the backfield. Rio plays it across the midfield line, but La Roca is right there to gain possession. Here's Anderson. Kelsey Anderson pushing it up midfield. Anderson with some momentum gets it to Avery Collins, but Collins was unable to control it. Back to the Rio Rapids. Here's Amelia Byerly. Byerly plays it crossfield to her teammate. And that's Becca Mazie. Mazie plays it into the box. It's knocked away by La Roca. Now La Roca on the counterattack. Never mind, Rio has it again. Rio plays it ahead. Here's Byerly. Byerly pursued by Maddie Sidaway. Plays it to the right to Ruiz. Ruiz crosses it in. A nice shot on goal by Rio, but it is picked up by Nikki Pittman. And the shot that time by Tristan Spooner. Spooner has committed to the University of Idaho, just north of here. Obviously in Moscow, about 5 hours north. Collins back on the attack for La Roca. And now here is La Roca with Maddie Garlock trying to cross it into the box. Now Garlock has it back. She has 2 goals in the tournament. She's a dangerous player. Gets it inside, able to hit the ball off the crossbar, and now they are looking at the official. That was a nice play by Garlock. She was so tight along that back sideline, you thought that she might go out of bounds, but she just put her head down and was able to get the edge on her defender, hit it off the crossbar, but Garlock, the last one to touch, is going to be in possession in favor of Rio. Now here's La Roca with it back. Garlock, high pass over the top, and it is intercepted by Rio. In the 23rd minute here, Region 4 Championship in Boise, Idaho, as La Roca leading the Rio Rapids 1-0. A shot in the first minute or two by Avery Collins put La Roca up, and Rio has been looking for the equalizer ever since, though La Roca really has been the in this game. 5 shots on goal now for La Roca and 4 for the Rio Rapids. As Rio now with some room along the near sideline as Ruiz tries to play it in, but a nice defensive play to knock it away by La Roca. Now played along the other sideline, and it's knocked out of bounds by Cassie Bourne of the Rio Rapids. So both teams getting set to throw in. And a stoppage of play here in about the 23rd minute for teams to take a quick water break. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a few seconds. Back here in Boise, Idaho, the Region 4 Championship, U.S. Youth Soccer, brought to you by Turbo Sports Group. And Roca out of Utah with the early lead here in about the 25th minute in Boise. Roca scored very early on in this game, and since then had a few pretty decent shots on goal, but no amazing opportunities for either team as Maddie Garlock plays it into the box, shot just to the right of the frame, a little over the top as we have our first substitutions coming in. As checking in for Roca, you have Bailey Roche. And then checking in for Rio, you have Jordan Lacey. So ball to be kicked away by the Rio Rapids. That's Adriana Chavez, the goalie for them. Now here's Rio just about at center field, plays it away, but the ball possession maintained by Rio. Samantha Alfonso plays it ahead to Becca Mazie. Mazie along the right sideline now trying to work it inside, but two defenders from Roca, they meet up with her and take it away. But now here's Rio again. Mariah Baker into Samantha Alfonso. Alfonso, the shot on frame, and it's over the top of the goal, but a good look by Samantha Alfonso. That's the fourth shot on goal today by the Rio Rapids, but they have not been able to put any of them through so far. It was a different story when they played these two teams on Tuesday, as the Rio Rapids really were the ones who took advantage of almost every opportunity they had. Though they were outshot in the game, they took advantage of their shots on goal and were able to score 3 times. 3 goals scored in that game, and none for Roca. And obviously a different story so far today. The two teams met back on Tuesday, January 23rd, and it was Amelia Byerly who scored in the 21st minute, Rebecca Mazie who scored in the 47th minute, and then Jordan Lacey who scored in the 82nd minute. Now here's Sabrina Ruiz. Ruiz from the near side plays it to Becca Mazie, and Mazie, the shot, high shot, not really a chance for it as it goes over the top of the goal. But again, that is the 5th shot on goal now for the Rio Rapids. And Rio really has done a much better job keeping the ball really in the Roca side of the field. We have not seen, since really the early going, the first 9 or 10 minutes, we have not seen the same success by Roca at getting it into the box. Roca had a couple of corner kicks early on in the game, and then obviously the shot by Avery Collins that went in as Roca plays it ahead. Pass just too high that time. And now we have an offsides call against Roca. It was a very close call. And it was Bailey Roche who was called for offsides for Roca. Up the left sideline. Here's Avery Collins with it. Collins works it into the middle of the field. Collins gets free. Now she finds Maddie Sidaway. Sidaway works it across the field to Maddie Garlock, and now we have a whistle. And possession is going to go back to the Rio Rapids as we have another substitution getting set to check in. And this substitution will be for the Rio Rapids. and it will be Catherine Milliot who was getting set to check into the game. She has not quite checked in, though. And now she will. One of the interesting rule differences in U.S. Youth Soccer between U.S. Youth Soccer and FIFA rules, and really the only major difference is to do with the substitutions, as Milliot will get set to check in now, and she will replace Tristan Spooner. So Milliot to check in. But in U.S. Youth Soccer, a player can come out and then they can return to the game as long as it's in a different half. So Spooner can come back into the game if the coaches decide, but she would have to come back in the second half of play. Ball knocked out of bounds. It will be La Roca possession. But in FIFA, and maybe you've been watching some of the World Cup, if a player leaves the game, they cannot return. So that's a pretty big difference as far as substitutions go. So it gives coaches a little bit more flexibility as far as how they play their lineup. Here's Kelsey Anderson trying to play it. Collins. Ball knocked back and then out of bounds by Ben Ken of La Roca. So it will be in possession of the Rio Rapids. Here's the throw-in. Throw-in Roca players, and now the ball headed up in the air a couple of times, and La Roca comes away. Here's Christiana Ben-Ken. She plays it ahead to Avery Collins. Collins turns, plays it across the to Maddie Garlock. Garlock takes a shot. Didn't have enough strength quite to get it there, and is knocked away by the Rio Rapids. It will be a throw-in, I believe, for La Roca as it went out ahead of that corner flag along the touchline there. The goal scored in the first couple of minutes by Avery Collins, a beautiful left-footed shot that went across from the left to the right side of the frame, hit the right side goalpost, and then ricocheted in for the early momentum boost for La Roca. But since then, is much even, as Maddie Garlock just fired the 6th shot on goal for La Roca. Here's La Roca. They throw it in. Ball controlled by La Roca, but now Rio able to knock it out. Now here's Avery Collins. Collins has it just outside the box, but has it taken away. Couldn't get a good shot, but now La Roca has another chance. Cross in. Header by Collins, and it is left of the frame, off the mark, but still, you like the play at that time, as we'll see. Take one more look at it here. A nice right-footed play in by her teammate, and Collins, she's got that height on her. She's probably about 6'1", 6'2", able to get up in the air, put a good head on it, just off to the left of the frame, though. But a good opportunity that time, for sure, by La Roca. And here's Adriana Chavez. Head for the Rio Rapids, and we have a whistle. And I believe that is going to be a foul on the Rio Rapids. It's going to be a free kick for La Roca. Lauren Gibson has 3 players forming the wall for Rio. So we'll see what happens here, how La Roca is able to play off of this free kick. Here's Gibson. Plays it into the box, high up in the air, and it is caught by Adriana Chavez right there. Chavez has been solid in goal today. Besides the one goal that she has given up, she's definitely been tested. That is the 8th shot on goal by La Roca, and the one that she did give up, it was a tough one to get, as Avery Collins came from the left side of the box and then fired a shot back to the right, ricocheting off the goalpost. Those are kind of tough to predict how it's going to bounce. And now we have another whistle and a foul call against La Roca. Referees today: Cicia Valerio, Juan Pablo Escobar, Adriana Contreras, and Lauren Barnett, as we are in the 36th minute LaRocca has been the last few minutes. It's kind of gone back and forth. LaRocca had about 3 or 4 shots in the early going, probably the first 10 or so minutes. Obviously able to convert one of those, then back and had a few shots on goal to kind of even things out as far as shot distribution. But then LaRocca in the last few minutes has been able to get some looks. Now here along the right side of the field is Jordan Lacey. Lacey trying to attack but has it taken away. Lacey, the leader in goals scored on this team in the tournament. As Benken tries to play it ahead to Avery Collins. Easily really the most, seems like she's been the most dangerous player so far today for LaRocca. She has good height on her and is just an aggressive player, able to get up in the air, very effective at heading the ball, and has got pretty good handle as well. As it will be Rio ball, 2 players getting set. Actually, 3 players getting set to check into the game for LaRocca. And for LaRocca, that is number 10, Natalie Reynolds. Number 3, Elizabeth Cressay. And then number 14, Maddie Russell. So nearing 1/2 of play as Rio plays it in, and Nikki Pittman goes up, makes the two-handed catch at the goal. And any threat there averted for LaRocca. LaRocca playing some good defense today as well. Nikki Pittman hasn't had any real big challenges. Obviously, got to give some credit to the 4 defenders in front of her there. As the shot that time by Rio, that was Amelia Byerly. Byerly did score meeting between these two teams in pool play on Tuesday. That time, the nice defensive play by Christiana Benken. So here's LaRocca with possession. Kelsey Anderson plays it ahead to Maddie Sidaway. And now the ball played up the right side of the field, the far sideline, and now Rio has control. Rio gets it back. Here's Cassie Bourne. Bourne plays it over the middle. The ball chested by Lisa Stowe, but now Rio still on the attack. Nice move inside by Caitlin Acosta. Acosta, a shot, and it's good. A shot on frame, and it goes through. And the Rio Rapids have put through the equalizer to even things up at 1 apiece. What a shot that was. A bullet with the right foot by Caitlin Acosta, I believe it was. So we're all tied up here as a beauty of a shot by the Rio Rapids. Now just a few minutes before the half. We are in the 41st minute here at the U.S. Youth Soccer Region 4 Championship game here in Boise, Idaho, between LaRocca out of the state of Utah and the Rio Rapids out of New Mexico. Battle for possession along that far sideline right at midfield. And possession narrow now in favor of LaRocca. LaRocca plays it in. LaRocca looking to attack from along the far touchline, and Rio able to play it away. Now here's Christiana Benken. Benken trying to control just inside of midfield, but has it stolen away by Jordan Lacey. Lacey in the open field. Lacey going to put a shot up, but the shot off the mark to the left of the frame, and Nikki Pittman picks it up. I believe Caitlin Acosta, it was either Caitlin Acosta or it was Jordan Lacey with the equalizer. I believe, though, that it was Caitlin Acosta who nailed the goal for the Rio Rapids. A right-handed dart that just perfectly placed in the top, just to the right of center, the top of the net. And it was just a hard ball to get to for Nikki Pittman, the goalie for La Roca. It was one of those shots that just was hit so hard and so well and so high. Even if Pittman would have timed it perfectly, she would have had a hard time reaching up to get that shot. So 1-1 here as we near the completion of the first half of play. Ball played across midfield by La Roca. And now Eden Jacobson able to knock it away. Now La Roca with possession for a moment. Battle for possession, and Rio able to take it away. And now in the open field, Rio may have another chance. Amelia Byerly has it knocked away, though. The ball played away by La Roca. Now here's Samantha Alfonso. Savanzo plays it ahead. Now Jordan Lacey with the nice pass from her teammate. Tries to get inside and fire a shot, but it is knocked away. Christiana Benken was in on the defense for La Roca. And it looks like it will be possession in favor of La Roca. So nice defense there on the leading goal scorer for the Rio Rapids, Jordan Lacey. Lacey looked like she might have a good opportunity, but was quickly bottled up by the defenders. Here's Benken. She plays it ahead. And now La Roca will try to attack. Here's Maddie Sidaway. Sidaway plays it ahead, but the pass off the mark by Natalie Reynolds. And now across on the other side of the field, there's Caitlin Acosta. She looks to push it up the left sideline, and it goes across the touchline. It will be Rio soccer ball. Here's Cassie Bourne. Bourne plays it across midfield, but Nikki Pittman comes up and is able to save it. Pittman drop kicks it to the center of the field. Here's Becca Mazie. Mazie and Samantha Alfonso playing it back and forth. Now here's Mazie again, attacking with the left foot. Now plays it across the box, but the pass to no one apparently, and La Roca has it. But now Rio has it back. La Roca trying to get it out of the box, and it looks like they have successfully. Here's Maddie Sidaway. Sidaway plays it ahead to Natalie Reynolds, and we have a whistle and a violation against La Roca, so it will be the Rio Rapids who have possession. Dominique Rivera plays a hard shot, and it rolls basically to a stop right in front of Nikki Pittman. Now into the center. Here's Eden Jacobson. Jacobson turns and gives the ball up. Now here's Sidaway. Sidaway plays it ahead to Bailey Roche. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for La Roca. We have a whistle, and it's going to be possession in favor of the Rio Rapids. So to recap, first couple of minutes, goal scored quickly by La Roca. Avery Collins, her third goal of the tournament. Beautiful left-footed shot. Then just a few minutes ago, Kate able to put the ball in a beautiful right-footed that just struck the net in frame. A 1-1 equalizer. Ahead of the pack, here's Alfonso, a shot on goal. Another shot on goal. That is the 8th shot on goal for the Rio Rapids. 9 for La Roca. Now in the open, Jacobson. Jacobson bottled up, but she still has possession. Potentially an opportunity for La Roca. Here's Bailey Roche. Back to Jacobson. Jacobson tries to play it across, but Mariah Baker comes through, knocks it away, and now we have a whistle. And I believe that is halftime. So at the half, we're all tied at 1 apiece. You had a feeling that the Roca was going to be going into the half with the momentum and a 1-0 lead, but a huge goal right near the end of the half by the Rio Rapids. And that's where we are at the half, 1-1. We're going to take a break here in the Turbo Sports Group, but we will be back with more, of course, a few minutes before the second half. We're back with more after this. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, Capri Sun, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Mango.org, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, Olive Garden, Sports Authority, and Wilson Trophy Company. Both teams Tom Purvis back with you here on Turbo Sports Group. As we are broadcasting you live the U.S. Youth Soccer Region 4 Championship here in Boise, Idaho. Welcome back in for the second half as we are tied at 1 apiece here in this game between Roca out of the state of Utah. They're actually based out of Layton, Utah. And then the Rio Rapids out of New Mexico. And Roca got on the board very early to the third minute. It was Avery Collins with her third goal of this championship here, of this tournament. As play has been going on since Tuesday, you had pool play, and then the 2 previous days before this, you had quarterfinal and then semifinal. The 39th minute, Caitlin Acosta of the Rio Rapids with the equalizer. A beautiful right-footed bullet hitting in the top part of the net that was almost impossible, really, to stop for Roca goalie Nikki Pittman. And that's where we are as we get this second half underway. As Rio throws it in. And it's going to be interesting to see in this second half really where these teams fall. Obviously, in the first half, I would say that the aggressor was Roca. They had a few more shots on goal. I believe the numbers were 9-8 as far as shots on goal go. But Rio was able to kind of sneakily get in there and really get some good shots on goal kind of through the midway point of that first half. And then obviously the big one by Caitlin Acosta to tie things up here. So we'll see if Roca can take advantage of all the opportunities they had, or if they can have a repeat of that first half and take advantage of the opportunities that they make. Is the ball right now on the side, the Roca side of the field, is the Rio Rapids on the attack. Here's Amelia Byerly. The ball taken away by Roca as Maddie Garlock tries to play it up the right sideline. Now ball played across by the Rio Rapids. That's Byerly, but Nikki Pittman there to pick it up for Roca. Pittman drop kicks it. Ball drops just inside of midfield, but Rio plays it back the other way. Here's Byerly once again. Byerly trying to attack with the left foot. She falls down, slow to get up, no call as Roca brings it back the other way. Here's Maddie Garlock. Garlock plays it ahead to Eden Jacobson. Jacobson finds Avery Collins. A nice play into the box looking for her teammate. And that is Garlock who has it. Garlock able to regain control after she lost it. Maddie Sitaway. And now you have a shot by Ellie Hall. It's knocked away, but Roca will again maintain possession. Here's Eden Jacobson. Left foot. Plays a short pass. Collins. Now we have a whistle and a foul call against Roca. So a will to Rio. And that last time, I think that Avery Collins, she got it just outside the box on the near side. And there really wasn't anyone around her. She gave it up, but I think that she really could have turned to her strong side, her left side, and probably gotten into the box and had a decent shot on goal. But instead, she gave it up. Here's a shot on goal. Hits the top of the crossbar. Ricochets back out. And somehow Roca able to escape. The beautiful shot on goal by the Rio Rapids, but it hit the top of the crossbar and then bounced out. So we're still tied up here, even though it seemed for a moment that Rio was about to take the 2-1 advantage. The shot that close to going in. Nikki Pittman was not able, the goal for Roca was not able to get a hand on the ball, but the shot just a smidge too high as Rio now plays it in. The throw in by Caitlin Acosta, it's out of bounds, and it will be possession in favor of the Rio Rapids. As Caitlin Acosta will have the free kick. Acosta with the goal for the Rio Rapids in the 39th minute in that first half. Tie things up here. Acosta plays it ahead in the air, headed up, and Roca has possession, but ball played ahead, and Mariah Baker right there with the steal. Baker controlling, just inside of midfield. Plays it off to the right, looking for Jordan Lacey. Racing along the right side, cuts into the middle, goes down, no call, and LaRocca comes away with it. Lacey, but the officials obviously didn't think it was enough to make a call. Now here's a shot blocked by Cassie Bourne, or the shot by Cassie Bourne blocked by LaRocca. Now LaRocca plays it ahead. Avery Collins on the run, has the ball, trying to get inside of the box. Collins might have a shot at it. Now pulls up, stops, plays it across to teammate Maddie Sidaway, and Sidaway's shot sails over the frame and out of bounds. A nice run up the far side, that time by Avery Collins. But you have to credit the defense of the Rio Rapids getting to her. It was Dominique Rivera who was one-on-one with Collins for a few moments there. She was able to stay with her, between her and the goal, really, and kept Collins from getting a really good look at it. Here's the kickoff, played ahead by Adriana Chavez of the Rio Rapids, and now it crosses the touchline. It will be LaRocca soccer ball. LaRocca plays it in. Now Rio comes away with it as Becca Mazie has it. Mazie backfield, and now they'll play it all the way back to Chavez. Collins trying to attack, and Chavez able to get it ahead. Chavez races back into goal as Mariah Baker controls for the Rio Rapids. Baker has it knocked away by Eden Jacobson. Jacobson plays it across the touchline, and it will be possession Rio Rapids. So far in this second half, the Rio Rapids with a very impressive shot on goal to give them 9 for the game. Hit the top of the crossbar as Cassie Boren plays it across the touchline for the Rio Rapids. So LaRocca will have it. LaRocca plays it in. Now into the backfield it goes, and Lisa Stowe has it for LaRocca. Stowe plays it into the Rio side of the Madison Gorlock. Gorlock dribbling with the left foot. Gorlock a hit from the left side. No call, as the LaRocca coaches wanted a call that time. Gorlock was taken down by one of the Rio Rapids players. Now here's LaRocca in the attack. Along the far sideline, the pass just a little too much for Reynolds of LaRocca. It's Natalie Reynolds. Now here's LaRocca with possession. And that's Maddie Sidaway. Sidaway tries to play it in. Now plays it backwards. Lexi Sims has it for LaRocca. Now here's Garlock. Garlock plays it across. And now here's Eden Jacobson. Jacobson loses possession, and Jordan Lacey comes away with it. Lacey, the leading goal scorer for the Rio Rapids, hasn't been much of a factor thus far. Lacey trying to push into the middle of the field. She goes down. No call, and now LaRocca clears across midfield. Header by Dominique Rivera. Now it's played back the other way by LaRocca. Bourne plays it across the touchline. Back upfield it goes. Kelsey Anderson plays it up the far sideline. And now it is knocked across the touchline by the Rio Rapids. We're in the 10th minute here in this second half, so effectively the 55th minute in the game, as Jordan Lacey has her shot knocked away by LaRocca. Now here's Avery Collins. Collins along that far side knocks it away, and then it's played back up the right sideline. Temperatures definitely starting to soar here in Boise, Idaho, as it's just about 10 a.m. and it's already 86 degrees. It's supposed to get up to 108 degrees today here in Boise, Idaho. That's the forecast, and it certainly is above average for Boise, Idaho. I mean, maybe in Phoenix that'd be considered normal, but in Boise, normally it doesn't get quite that hot. As Adriana will get set to kick it away for Rio. Chavez able to get it across midfield, but now LaRocca has possession. Here's Sidaway. Sidaway gets it to Lexi Sims. Garlock attacking from the right corner. Now she goes back into the middle, plays it across into the box, but it's knocked away by Rio. Now ahead by Samantha Alfonso. Alfonso gets it ahead to Jazara Baca. Jazara Baca from the left side, working against LaRocca. She plays it to Jordan Lacey. The cross in, now it comes to Alfonso. Alfonso, the shot over the top of the frame. 10th shot on goal in the game for the Rio Rapids, as it was a decent look for Samantha Alfonso. The Rio Rapids, remember, they beat LaRocca 3-0 the first time these teams played. They both came from Pool D. Both were able to advance, obviously, to the regional championship today, but Rio beat LaRocca 3-0 when they played on Tuesday of this past week. Now here's Amelia Byerly. Byerly plays it ahead to Lacey. Lacey couldn't control it, and it goes out. But it will be a throw-in for Rio. Here's Lacey, the leading goal scorer for the Rio Rapids in this tournament. She has been on the attack here in this second half. Now here's Amelia Byerly cutting inside. Byerly looking to get it, almost scores, but Pittman, or rather Nikki Pittman, excuse me, able to get there. The shot was just kind of a squeaker. It barely any speed at all. And Byerly, if she would have gotten it in, would effectively been getting it in by sneaking it past Pittman. But Pittman was ready as Mariah Baker takes it away from LaRocca. That was Maddie Garlock who had it. Now LaRocca and Rio struggling for possession just inside of midfield on the LaRocca side. Now here's Avery Collins. Collins plays it ahead to Eden Jacobson, but it's knocked away by Rio. I believe, though, that this may be, well, let's see here. I couldn't tell if it went out of bounds on the backside or on the sideline of the flag. I think it's just a throw-in for LaRocca, and it's Garlock who will throw it in. Garlock throws it in. Sidaway controls it. Back to Garlock. Collins to the left of the frame, out of bounds it goes. They really like to play it up top for Avery Collins. Collins has had a good game, has had some good attempts, some good shots on goal, and of course did score a goal in the 3rd minute of this game. From the left side of the box, she beat Adriana Chavez in the right corner of the goal. A beauty that it was. Now the ball, a scrum at midfield. And here's Kelsey Anderson. She knocks it back upfield. And it's Avery Collins who has it. Collins on the attack. Gets it to Garlock. Garlock with a potential opportunity. Dribbling into the box. Trying to beat the defender to the right corner. Makes a move. Now back toward the sideline. Crosses and knocked away by Dominique Rivera of the Rio Rapids. Rivera, the excellent defense. The Rio Rapids obviously pitched a shutout in the first meeting against LaRocca, a 3-0 win. Kind of got caught off guard in the early going here, but since then they have been solid. Here's the corner playing. A shot from beyond the box by Christiana Benken is blocked, and now Rio on the attack. Here's Jordan Lacey dribbling it upfield ahead to Alfonso. Alfonso, some nifty footwork against LaRocca, but Her shot is blocked, but Lacey gets it back. Lacey across the box, gets it. A nice shot on goal, and it's a goal scored by Becca Maisie. What a shot by Maisie, perfectly arched over the top of the outstretched arms of Nikki Pittman, and the Rio Rapids, with 2 unanswered goals, they take a 2-1 lead. And the assist by Jordan Lacey, just good resiliency that time by the Rio Rapids. Samantha Alfonso had her shot blocked, but the rebound came with a nice look from the left side, just to the left of the box. I believe it was inside the box, and Maisie just perfectly arced the shot over the outstretched arms of Pittman, right on frame, in goal. And now a header opportunity by LaRocca to answer back. That's Eden Jacobson, but Jacobson just not able to get the ball down, and it just sails over the top of the goal. And now Madison Garlock, you can see just kind of that goal by Rio has deflated LaRocca a bit, as Madison Garlock, the second leading goal scorer on this team in the tournament, just kind of put her hands on her knees and just looked a little bit discouraged. Now here's Rio back on the attack. LaRocca is going to have to try and quell this momentum by the Rio Rapids. Rio just playing with a lot of energy, and they definitely have been the aggressors so far in the second half. Jacobson plays it into the box, looking for Avery Collins, but Collins unable to get to it, and the Rio Rapids have it. Ball drop kicked by Chavez, and it goes across midfield. And it will be a throw-in for the Rio Rapids. 2-1, Caitlin Acosta. And then Becca Maisie. 2 goals for the Rio Rapids to answer the early advantage taken by LaRocca off of the Avery Collins goal in the 3rd minute. But Becca Maisie, a beautiful left-footed shot. We are now in the 63rd minute here in Boise, Idaho, as the Rio Rapids now with a 2-1 lead, as they are looking for a repeat of their 3-0 victory against LaRocca in pool play. Now on the attack, here's the Rio Rapids, but Nikki Pittman, the aggressor, coming out and meeting the ball just on the edge of the box. Pittman has the left sideline, controlled by Maddie Garlock. Garlock gets it to Jacobs, attacking the middle of the field. Collins, but the pass far over her head and easily picked up by Adriana Chavez. And the coaches that time getting up and yelling out some instructions to LaRocca. I think that they wanted LaRocca to attack on the rebound after that Eden Jacobs, or pass rather, was over the head of Avery Collins. Now here's LaRocca back on the attack. Garlock crosses it into the box, but no one really near the pass, and it goes out. Rapids with 2 unanswered goals here. The Rio Rapids looking for their first Region 4 championship. And of course, for both of these teams, either team with a win today wins not only the Region 4 championship, but the right to head to Tulsa, Oklahoma, a couple of weeks, national championship. And of course, the U18 classification. We'll see what LaRocca can do. It seems that the Rio Rapids have really solved this LaRocca attack defensively. They've done a good job on Madison Garlock, bottling her up, and also Avery Collins, since Collins was able to get that goal early on. Now here's Maddie Sidaway. Sidaway dribbling up the far sideline now, crosses it into the middle. Here's Eden Jacobson. Jacobson, a fairly clean shot, but it's just way off frame. So Jacobson with 2 consecutive shots, very good ones, but just has not been able to knock it home. If she can just bend that ball down just a little bit more, she has a really good look at it as Chavez kicks it away for the Rio. Now, this is the touchline, not sure, and it looks like it will be Rio Rapid possession. As Rio plays it in. Ball headed up into the air. And now La Roca has it. Here's Madison Garlock. Crosses it in. Looking for a head. Here's Avery Collins. A shot! And I believe that they're saying she must have been offsides. Collins was behind the defender on the rebound, and she must have been offsides because Collins, I believe she just put it in the back of the net. So no goal for La Roca, though a very good attempt. We'll see if La Roca can capitalize on this little bit of momentum they have here as Caitlin Acosta kicks it safely away for the Rio Rapids. The Rio Rapids with a 2-1 lead here off goals by Caitlin Acosta in the 39th, and then Becca Mazey. We don't have an exact time she put it through, but Mazey lofted a perfect shot with the left foot from just to the left of the box. Just perfectly played for the goal to break the tie here in Boise, Idaho. Tom Purvis here with you on the Turbo Sports Group, broadcasting you this Region 4 U.S. Youth Soccer Championship game live from Simple Soccer Complex. Now here's Lacey. Jordan Lacey on the attack for Rio, trying to play it ahead to her teammate, but La Roca right there to knock it away. Now played ahead by Lauren Gibson. Gibson ahead to Collins. Collins trying to get free, and Collins using her hands to take her defender out of the way, Cassie Boren, and that was a fairly obvious call. And it will go back to the Rio Rapids. Obviously, soccer, a physical game, and Avery Collins just doing everything that she could there to try and get free of Cassie Boren, but is called for the foul. Boren puts it into the air for the Rio Rapids. And now Mariah Baker plays it ahead for Rio, but now La Roca gains possession along the far sideline. Now Rio plays it ahead again. A race to the ball, and Jordan Lacey has it. Lacey attacking from the back corner, plays it across the box, and it will go beyond the touchline. It will be La Roca possession. Jordan Lacey, just a junior on this team, one of the few juniors on the team. Just one other junior is Catherine Milliot. And Lacey, the leading goal scorer in the tournament thus far for La Roca, not counting today's results, obviously, but she has 3 goals in the tournament. She is verbaled to the University of Texas at San Antonio as Rio kicks it away. And they're taking a water break here as we are about halfway through the second half, a 2-1 lead for the Rio Rapids. We'll take a break. We're back right after this. took an early lead in the 3rd minute off an Avery Collins goal, a 1-0 lead that they held for about 36 minutes before Caitlin Acosta with the equalizer just before the half in the 39th minute. And then the Rio Rapids able to take the lead off Becca Mazie. Here's a shot on goal by Madison Garlock. The 12th shot on goal for La Roca, but only one they have been able to put home, obviously 2 for the Rio Rapids. Is getting set to check back into the game is Tristan Spooner. Spooner checks in, and Catherine Milliot will head out for the Rio Rapids. Here we are in about the 73rd minute as Rio plays it across the touchline, and La Roca will throw it in. La Roca has been aggressive here in these last few minutes, obviously desperately trying to equalize this game, as there isn't a ton, still quite a bit of time, but still definitely on the backside of this half. Here's a nice play ahead by the Rio Rapids. That's Jasara Baca as Nikki Pittman comes out to meet her. Now Rio plays it back ahead. Battle for possession just inside midfield. And now the ball almost played across the touchline, but La Roca has it. Here's Avery Collins. Collins fakes to the left now, rotates to the right, and plays it back into the backfield. They'll try and reverse the field, or cross the field, rather. Here's Lexi Sims. Sims plays it ahead. Now Madison Garlock in the open field. Garlock, now Sims has it back. La Roca just trying to find an opening in this very effective defense, as it has been for Rio. And now a steal in the backfield for the Rio Rapids, and it's Amelia Byerly. Byerly stops, now turns back to the left, a little fancy footwork, puts a shot to the left of the frame, and it goes across the touchline. Good effort by Amelia Byerly, who scored the last time these two teams met. She has not scored today. The 3 players who have scored in this game so far: Avery Collins in the 3rd minute for La Roca, and then Caitlin Acosta and Becca Mazie for the Rio Rapids. Here's Madison Garlock. Garlock controls it in the latter third of the field on the attack into the Rio defense. They play it ahead to Avery Collins. Collins turns, finds Garlock. Garlock along the right sideline, plays it in, and it's knocked away by the Rio Rapids. And now it's played across the touchline. It will be a throw-in for La Roca. That's Lexi Sims, and Sims will actually now check out of the game. And checking in will be Crissay. Elizabeth Crissay into the game now for La Roca. Here's La Roca on the attack still. Lauren Gibson to Crissay. Crissay plays it across into the box, but really no chance for a goal there, as the shot just had no velocity on it, and Adriana Chavez picks it up easily. We're in the 76th minute here in Boise, Idaho. La Roca has kept it on the Rio side of the field really ever since Rio scored that goal to take a 2-1 lead. Here's the play into the box, across inside, rebound by Madison Garlock. And you have a whistle. And it looks like it's going to be Rio possession. I'm not sure what the violation was that time. Potentially offsides or a foul on the part of La Roca, as another La Roca player getting set to check into the game. This time it's Bailey Roche. Roche, the second time she has entered the game off the bench also. Sabrina Ruiz readying to check in for Rio. LaRocca has possession. They'll play it across midfield. Madison Garlock has it. Garlock had a big game in the semifinal win for LaRocca when they beat BNSC Premier out of Idaho, or rather, sorry, that was the Rio Rapids. But LaRocca beat the Eastside SC Red out of Washington 4-1. Madison Garlock scored twice in that game. And obviously, if you're Rio, I mean, LaRocca has certainly pulled forward a few more of its players to attack more. But if Rio is able to, off of a counterattack or a rebound or something like that, if they are able to get another goal, it would almost put the kibosh on this game. 2-1. Here's Jordan Lacey with some fancy footwork along the left sideline. And it's kicked out by LaRocca. And Lacey will throw in for Rio. She throws it into Mazie. Becca Mazie back to Lacey. Lacey working it to the left, back to the right. And we have a yellow card that has been assessed against Jordan Lacey. I believe it's Jordan Lacey who picks up the yellow card. I did not see the foul as Lacey was working with the ball over along that left side. So here's LaRocca to kick it away. That's Elizabeth Crissay. It's Mariah Baker able to get control of it at midfield, but now LaRocca has it. Eden Jacobson plays it ahead to Madison Garlock. Garlock trying to attack from the right side. Has it knocked away, and now Mariah Baker plays it ahead. But a header by LaRocca has it back in play. Here's Garlock. Is it into the box? A shot on frame over the top. A good look by LaRocca, but once again, unable to finish. LaRocca has had their opportunities here in this second half, but most of them have sailed harmlessly over the top of the frame. As that time, Maddie Sidaway unable to get her shot to go. So Chavez will play it ahead. And now here's Crissay. Crissay knocks it back into the latter third of the Rio Rapids defense. As Rio plays it out of bounds, and LaRocca will throw in. Maddie Garlock throws it in. It's up in the air, and Avery Collins has it. Collins spins around, has it knocked away. Chavez on the ground gets the save. Nice defense by the Rio Rapids, especially Cassie Boren that time. Boren has done a good job playing against Avery Collins here in this second half, as that time she was able to get a foot on the ball before Collins could get a clean shot. But here's LaRocca again. Crossed into the box, but nowhere near it, as Eden Jacobson trying to get to it, but it crosses the touchline, and it will be possession in the favor of Rio as Chavez gets ready to kick it away. About 10 minutes left in this one as we are in the 81st minute. Here's Rio keeping it in play. Nice work that time by Sabrina Ruiz as she went to the ground but kept the ball in play. Now here's Mazie. Mazie plays it to Ruiz. And now Rio keeping possession, but now retaken by LaRocca. Played ahead. Natalie Reynolds racing for it. Now she has it along the right back sideline. And it's knocked away. by Rio. So it looks like it's going to be a corner kick for La Roca. We'll see what happens. Of course, La Roca has Avery Collins there in the center. She's got the height. Here's Madison Garlock. Plays it in from the corner. The header up in the air. It's up for grabs. Here's a shot knocked away by the Rio Rapids. The shot that time by Lauren Gibson. Now Rio attacking on the other end. Here's Jordan Lacey. Lacey grabbed from behind. Lacey goes to the ground, and a yellow card assessed against La Roca as Lisa Stowe, trying to chase down Jordan Lacey, basically climbed on her back from behind, and an obvious foul committed as Lacey crumples to the ground. A little slow to get up, but she is okay, but a yellow card assessed. Second yellow card here in about the last couple of minutes. As Dominique Rivera will send the free kick into play for Rio. Rivera plays it off to the left, and Rivera's pass way off the mark. He intended for Sabrina Ruiz. And it will go back to La Roca. Remember, 2 yellow cards assessed in a single game, and you lose that player, and you're down a player for the duration, or the remainder, rather, of the game. Here's Ruiz trying to attack from the left side, tries to play it through Crozet, but Crozet gets the better of Ruiz and takes it away. Now La Roca pushes it ahead, desperate to get that equalizer. On the right side, all alone. Here's a shot by Natalie Reynolds, and it sails over the top of the goal, harmlessly out of bounds. 2-1 still. The Rio Rapids with 2 unanswered goals. The first in the 39th minute. Probably the best goal of the game by Caitlin Acosta from outside the box. Just a rocket that she sent into the top part of the goal. Nikki Pittman, as high as she could leap. I don't think she could have timed it right, that goal in the 39th minute. Now here's La Roca trying to even it back up. Ahead to Avery Collins. Collins down in the middle of the box. She goes down. No call. And I think that Collins was looking for a call. Looks like she might have gone down just a little bit too easily. She was sandwiched in between 2 defenders, but when the ball came down, the pass intended for her, she just kind of fell down. Here's Becca Mazie. Mazie ahead of the pack. Gets it to Jazara Baca. Baca crosses it in, but the ball headed away by La Roca. And now it crosses the touchline. And it is possession in favor of La Roca. They play it in to Sidaway. Now here's the shot played ahead by Lisa Stowe, and now the Rio Rapids have possession. Sabrina Ruiz plays it ahead of the pack. And now La Roca will just clear it to goalie Nikki Pittman. And now La Roca back on the attack. Here's Sidaway crossing the midfield stripe. Now across the field, it's played by, not sure who it was, but Madison Garlock now has it on the opposite side, the near side of the field. Garlock crosses it in, a header opportunity. Here's Collins. Collins had a great shot. She whiffed on the shot, and now Rio able to knock it away. Collins had a golden opportunity right there in the box, and she whiffed on the shot. She just missed it, and then could not recover for that second shot before Rio was on top of her. Here's La Roca trying for that equalizer. They play it in, but it's cleared out by the Rio Rapids. But La Roca will throw it in again. Here's Jacobson. Jacobson trying to attack from the near side. Jacobson has it knocked away, but Sidaway plays it in the corner to Garlock. Garlock going to cross in, and she does. It's up in the air. The header off the mark. Avery Collins got a good head on it, but was not able to put it on frame, just to the right of it. And once again, La Roca is turned away by the Rio Rapids. And I like what LaRocca is doing. They've found a way to get it to Madison Garlock along that near corner. And then Garlock has been able to put several good passes, setting it up for Collins in the box for the head, but it just has not worked out. Now here's LaRocca. Rio, all players on deck as they are trying to stymie this LaRocca attack and hold on for a 2-1 victory. Here's a shot, more of a desperation shot by LaRocca. That was Bailey Roche, but she was unable to put it in. It sails over the goal. We are nearing the completion of full time here in Boise, Idaho, as LaRocca, the early aggressors, find themselves on the losing end currently of a 2-1 score. Here's a shot by LaRocca, Natalie Reynolds, but it's off the mark to the left of the frame. So still 2-1 in favor of Rio. Here's Adriana Chavez. She'll kick it away. Chavez able to get it to Jazara Baca. And now Rio able to kick it across the touchline, so a throw-in again by LaRocca. LaRocca has had their chances to tie this thing up in the second half, and they have just not been able to capitalize. Here's the shot played across midfield. Will LaRocca have another good chance? They play it ahead to Garlock, but it's knocked away, retained by Natalie Reynolds, but a nice clear by Caitlin Acosta. Now they play it to the right to Garlock. Garlock may have an opportunity to cross it in. Garlock switches the ball back to the left, plays it into the box. A shot on goal, and it's good! The equalizer! And I believe it was Natalie Reynolds who put it in, a rocket with the right foot into the back right corner of the net, and LaRocca has tied things up. What a shot. And finally, Madison Garlock with the assist, the beautiful assist with the left hand. She was trapped to the right, crossed the ball over back to her left, and found Reynolds. What a play by LaRocca to tie this thing up. So now, with only a few minutes left in full time, you have to wonder about the possibility of overtime. But whichever team is the aggressor here, maybe you can get a goal the last couple of minutes. A header attempt. What a header attempt by Eden Jacobson. Shot right on frame, but the brilliant save by Adriana Chavez. I don't think Chavez saw that coming as Jacobson was able to angle the header perfectly. Oh my word, LaRocca almost had another goal within a minute of each other. And you can sense right now that LaRocca has all the momentum. I think that Rio is just a little bit stunned. They have got to pull it together, though. Here's Natalie Reynolds, another look, and it sails over the top of the goal from the right side. We are in the 90th minute right now. 2 minutes of stoppage time have been added. So we'll just have to see what happens in the final 2 minutes. Some more late game heroics, or will we have overtime? Here's the ball played just inside of midfield. Now here's Rio. Rio in control. They try and get it across midfield. They do. They find Jordan Lacey. Lacey on the attack, racing down the center of the field. Lacey gets it past a couple defenders, fires a shot, and Nikki Pittman. The shot was not quite on frame, but Pittman still diving to make the save, not taking any chances. Now here's LaRocca. Ball nearly knocked across the touchline, but now Rio has control with Samantha Ruiz with possession. Ruiz dribbles it into the center of the field. She gets it ahead to Lacey. Lacey breaks through the pack, goes to her knees, but then gets back up, crosses it in, and Pittman with another save, a nice shot on goal by Lacey, but she was not able to get it in. Now LaRocca back the other way. LaRocca plays it into the center. Mariah Baker heads it back towards the LaRocca side. Now you give it to Natalie. Near sideline. Reynolds attacking. Dribbling up the right side. She's going to try and cross it in potentially. Now goes towards the corner and it's knocked away. She was almost inviting the Rio defense to knock it away. That was Tristan Spooner who did the honors for the Rio Rapids. Now Reynolds will throw in. Reynolds, a nice throw in over the top of Avery Collins. I believe that was who she was intending to hit. And Chavez drop kicks it across midfield. LaRocca again turns and faces, and they will try and mount an attack. LaRocca with the heroics of Natalie Reynolds off the assist by Madison Garland to equalize this game just as it was coming down to the wire, and it appeared that the Rio Rapids might have come away with the victory. Natalie Reynolds puts it in to tie this thing up. They play it into the center of the box. I thought I just heard the whistle for full time, but apparently that was coming from one of the other fields. They play it across to Natalie Reynolds. Reynolds near sideline, races toward the bottom. And I believe we have full time, so this game is headed into overtime. Headed into overtime. We will get you the specifics of overtime after we step aside for a few minutes here. You're listening to the U.S. Youth Soccer Region 4 Championship between LaRocca and the Rio Rapids here in the Turbo Sports Group. I'm Tom Purvis. We'll be back after this. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, Capri Sun, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Mango.org, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, Olive Garden, Sports Authority, and Wilson Trophy Company. Tom Purvis back with you here in Boise, Idaho on Turbo Sports Group as we are broadcasting you live the U.S. Youth Soccer Region 4 Championship, the regional championship, and we are in an exciting game right now as Roca and the Rio Rapids sending this game into extra periods. Here's how overtime works. They will play two 15-minute periods. They will play those regardless of what happens as far as scoring, so we don't have sudden death here. Two 15-minute periods will be played regardless. The team that is on top at the end of those two 15-minute periods will obviously be the winner. If the teams are tied at the end of the two 15-minute periods, then this game will head into penalty kicks. What a game it has been. Roca took the advantage very early on in the 3rd minute when Avery Collins, a left-footed shot, put it into the right corner of the goal, and Roca had the early momentum. But in the 39th minute, Caitlin Acosta of the Rio Rapids tied things up with a beautiful right-footed shot that just hit the goal perfectly, top part of the goal. Then Becca Mazie gave the Rio Rapids the lead in the 60th minute with a perfectly lofted shot of her own left-footed shot. And then in the 88th minute, desperately trying to tie this thing up, Roca did just that when Natalie Reynolds put it in from just the left side of the box to tie this thing up. So we have got overtime here. And it's going to be interesting to see which team has more of the momentum coming in. I mean, you would have to think that Roca has maybe a little bit more momentum right now since they did tie this up in the 88th minute, and just the excitement and the adrenaline in doing that. But the Rio Rapids did have a couple of very nice looks in the last 2 minutes of stoppage time that may have given them some momentum, even though they weren't able to score those goals. We have a foul on Roca, so a free kick coming for the Rio Rapids. And it looks like Jordan Lacey will execute the free kick for the Rio Rapids. Lacey, the leading goal scorer in the tournament for the Rio Rapids, but she has not been able to score today. Here's Lacey. She sends it in. And looking for the goal, just sends it right back to the goalkeeper, Nikki Pittman, and Pittman makes the catch, no problem there. And Pittman drop kicks it back the other way for Roca. It's getting hot here in Boise, Idaho, up to 91 degrees now. And these players now playing in overtime. They played two 45-minute halves, and now they're going to play at least another 30 minutes as Avery Collins plays it into the box. Then Collins actually falls down over the U.S. Youth Soccer stand there. Collins is okay. She pops right up, and it will be a corner kick coming for Roca. So once again, Roca with that corner kick, you have that dangerous option of Avery Collins if you're able to play it into a spot where she can get ahead on it. It's a very dangerous play. Here's the corner kick. It's played in as Madison Garlock trying to get ahead on it, but she's not really able to. And it's played upfield by Becca Mazie of the Rio Rapids. Now Rio plays it into the backfield where Lisa Stowe controls it for Roca. Roca pushes it up the right sideline. Here's Garlock. She plays it in, but Lacey comes away with the steal. So far, neither team with a distinct advantage so far in shots on goal. Here's Rio trying to get it up that near sideline, but Roca able to take it away. Now here's Eden Jacobson pushing it into attack mode, trying to push it ahead for Avery Collins. Collins tripped up, and they are going to call a tripping foul against Rio. So that should put up a free kick for Roca. Roca, this team out of the state of Utah, 5-time defending state champions. The Rio Rapids, on the other hand, 6-time defending state champions out of the state of New Mexico. Here's a free kick, a two-person wall. for the Rio Rapids, as Lauren Gibson will play the free kick. Here's Gibson. She plays it into the box looking for Collins, but Adriana Chavez comes over and aggressively saves it and just kind of takes away any opportunity for Avery Collins. You have to think that Rio, of anyone on La Roca that Rio is focused on, it's going to be Avery Collins. Collins just has that good skill set. Not only is she able to put it on frame with her foot, but she is very effective at heading the ball as well. Here's Rio looking to attack. Eden Jacobson, though, takes it away from Amelia Byerly. Jacobson plays it ahead to Collins. Collins, a nice pass backwards to Ellie Hall. Now here's Jacobson. Jacobson has the pass knocked away, but Hall controls. Hall, a shot from the top of the box, saved by Chavez. A nice shot by Hall, but Chavez was ready. Pretty good distance that shot was fired from as well. Here's Chavez. Her drop kick drops just inside of midfield on the La Roca side, but now La Roca has it back. La Roca up the far sideline. La Roca did a really good job when they were trying to tie it up in the latter part of regulation. They did a really good job finding Madison Garlock. Well, here's a play into the box. Avery Collins had a look at it, but she slipped and was not able to control it. But here's Ben Ken. Ben Ken able to get it back for La Roca to Jacobson. Jacobson plays it into Collins. A give and go right back to Jacobson. Jacobson to Garlock. This is where La Roca has been effective. Garlock crossing it in from that far side, or really the right side where she plays as a wing. Ball knocked away by Rio, and La Roca will play it in, and now we have the ball going across the touchline, and Rio will have it. The two U18 boys teams warming up right now as they are slated to go off at 11 a.m., but that is not going to happen, as this game will go at least until probably 11:10 or so. The game coming up after this one, right here on Turbo Sports Group, will be LVSA against Golden State White, FC Golden State White. And this matchup will be very interesting, very compelling, because the last two Region 4 champions were these two teams. These two teams represent the last two champions. As a foul on Rio, so La Roca will have a free kick. And once again, Lauren Gibson will play it in. La Roca has not been able to do a whole lot off of their free kick opportunities today, neither from the corner nor from outside the box upfield. Now here's the ball played in. The goalie comes out nowhere. Adriana Chavez came out aggressively trying to save it, and she missed the ball. It was free in the box, and La Roca knocks it in. Unbelievable, and Adriana Chavez, she took a risk by coming out of the goal as far as she did. And the risk turned out to really be a killer. She just missed the ball, and it dropped right in front of the goal, and La Roca was able to knock it in. I didn't even see who it was that scored for La Roca, but off the rebound, it might have been Avery Collins. So La Roca now with two unanswered goals. And maybe in a moment, maybe not, we'll take a look at a replay on that. But a free kick now for La Roca as Jordan Lacey will play it. Lacey sends it in right at Nikki Pittman, and Pittman with the fundamental save. And now we're going to take a look at the replay. Here it is. Replay drops in. And the goal right there. So you see Chavez coming way out, just unable. And now here's Natalie Reynolds on the attack on the other end for La Roca. But Chavez coming out, just taking a big risk. And Chavez really had been successful at doing that pretty much all day. But that time, it just didn't work out. And off the rebound, La Roca, just an easy goal. So La Roca now with a 3-2 lead. We are 10 minutes into this first overtime period. Is now the Rio Rapids. It's on them to try and tie this one up again. It has gone back and forth today. Here's Natalie Reynolds, the pass ahead for her. Reynolds, the crossover move, able to get it into the box, but it's knocked out now by Rio. Caitlin Acosta knocks it across the touchline for Rio. And it will be La Roca with the possession. Here's Maddie Garland. She heads it in towards the box, but it's knocked back out. And it will once again be a throw-in for La Roca. La Roca has really turned this around. Of course, they had the 1-0 lead early in the game, and then it seemed that Rio had taken complete control, not only after equalizing the game in the 39th minute, Caitlin Acosta, as La Roca plays it in. Natalie Reynolds shot high over the goal, and it's out of bounds. But then Becca Mazie in the 60th minute gave Rio the lead 2-1, and you could just tell at that point that La Roca was stunned. They couldn't believe it, and they just seemed deflated. And then probably about in the 81st minute or so, La Roca really started pressing very hard, trying to tie it up. And obviously they finally did with Natalie Reynolds. And now they take a 3-2 lead early in overtime. We're about 10 minutes in. We're in probably the 102nd minute now. Here's Eden Jacobson. Jacobson plays it ahead. Now they play it out to the right to Madison Garland. Garland crosses it over, crosses into the box, gives it to Collins. Collins, a shot just to the left of the frame, and it rolls out of bounds. So 3-2. And as I kind of expected, La Roca has had the momentum here to start this overtime. We're almost through this first period of overtime. The ball has been almost exclusively in the Rio half of the defense. As I say that, Rio able to get it back the other way. Here's a cross by Sabrina Ruiz. Crosses it across the field. There's no one there, and then La Roca knocks it out of bounds safely. Clears it. So now Rio will throw it in. Don't forget, coming up after this, the U18 Boys Championship, Region 4, U.S. Youth Soccer. You have LVSA and FC Golden State White. They'll be squaring off. Both teams undefeated, 3-0 in pool play, and then obviously undefeated in knockout rounds. So both of them coming into this game 5-0, and they represent the two previous champions in Region 4. La Roca will kick it away as Nikki Pittman sets it up. Nearly through the first overtime period as La Roca has been able to capitalize off the momentum that they gained at the latter half of full time when they were able to tie it up 2-2 in the 88th minute, and they were able to knock in a goal really almost. I mean, La Roca played it in very well in a good position, a dangerous position for Rio, but almost a bit of a mistake by Adriana Chavez by so aggressively running out and trying to leap up and snag the ball, missing it, and the rebound comes down right in front of practically 5 La Roca players, and it was just an easy goal. Here's Rio still trying to press on La Roca. It's above 90 degrees in Boise, Idaho. Heat will certainly be a bit of a factor in this second game, as it's supposed to get up to nearly 110 degrees today here in Boise. Rio attacking in the La Roca third of the field, half of the field, as La Roca plays it up the far sideline and it goes out of bounds. So Rio will throw in. Rio trailing 3-2. We've already seen some resiliency by this team, but you just have to wonder how much you have left in the tank. If you're Rio right now, you were on the cusp of winning. You were ahead 2-1. Just get one or two more great defensive plays, and you walk away with the Region 4 championship, and then all of a sudden you're going into overtime. And that has to be deflating in and of itself. And then you've played over 100 minutes of soccer now, and now La Roca has the lead. I mean, where are you at right now if you're this Rio team? Obviously, this team has a great resume. They know what it takes to win. 6-time defending state champions out of New Mexico. And that ends the first overtime period. So at the end of the first overtime period, we're 105 minutes into this match, and La Roca takes a decisive 3-2 lead, but it is not over. One overtime period left to be played. Will Rio be able to regroup and get the equalizer that they need to send this thing into PKs? We're going to take a break, but we'll be back right after this. I'm Tom Purvis here with you on the Turbo Sports Group. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, Capri Sun, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Mango.org, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, Olive Garden, Sports Authority, and Wilson Trophy Company. Tom Purvis back here with you, broadcasting live here on Turbo Sports Group. U.S. Youth Soccer Regional Championships, Region 4 here in Boise, Idaho, and we have the U18 category, La Roca out of Utah and the Rio Rapids out of New Mexico. And La Roca with 2 unanswered goals, the latter of which gave them a 3-2 lead, the one they currently hold now, the 98th minute, the first period of overtime. And we had not been sure who scored that goal, but now we know it was Avery Collins in the 98th minute. So Collins' second goal of this game off of the rebound there, and her 4th goal of this tournament. So Collins certainly has had herself a fantastic tournament for La Roca. Final 15 minutes here, the second 15-minute period of overtime, and this is the last chance for the Rio Rapids to try and regroup and get the equalizer to tie things up at 3. Obviously, if they are able to tie it up and the overtime period ends at 3-3, then we would go into PKs. But obviously, if the Roca can hold on here against the Rio Rapids, then La Roca will be the Region 4 champions. And that will also punch their ticket to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the national championships coming up in a couple weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm expecting that Rio is going to pull pretty much everyone forward and just put all of their focus on the attack here against La Roca. So what's it going to take? Most of La Roca has been fairly solid on the attacking defense, except for the one time when Caitlin Acosta in the 39th minute just fired a beautiful shot and just hit it perfectly. So that's going to be the key. How will the La Roca defense respond to this ramped-up attack by Rio? A lot riding on this one of these teams, and these players have obviously invested their hearts and their souls in this team. It's a lot of work, and it all comes down to this. One team will be done, at least for this tournament, and the other will play on. Corner kick from Rio. They play it in. And now Rio is able to clear. Roca still looking like the aggressor right now, and if you're Rio, you've got to realize that you have about 15 minutes left to tie this thing up. You got to give everything that you have right now and get it into the Roca third of the field, and you've got to attack. Here's the Roca. They have possession right now. Played into the Rio side of the field. Now here's Avery Collins. Collins trying to get a beat on that ball, but wasn't able to get to it before Chavez kicked it back the other way. Now here's Nikki Pittman firing it back the other way for La Roca. Now Rio looking to be on the attack. Right now, I just see La Roca just looks sharper right now. They look like they have control of this game, and Rio still seem a little bit stunned. Mariah Baker able to kick it out, and it looks like one of the La Roca players a little slow to get up. No foul called, but we may have an injury on the La Roca side. It's on the far side of the field, so I cannot quite tell who it is that is down right now, but Baker came in with the slide, and pretty effective slide tackle by Baker. She was able to knock the ball out, but in the process did take down the La Roca player. I still can't tell who it is. It looks from here like it could be Elizabeth Crusay, but I'm still not sure. Players coming over to the sideline, and one of the assistant coaches heading out. So we will step aside for a minute here on Turbo Sports Group. We'll be back after this. In the Rio Rapids in the second period of overtime, 3-2. More after this. Idaho, Tom Purvis here with you on the Turbo Sports Group. La Roca has had all the momentum here in overtime. The first period, they took a 3-2 lead off a rebound. Avery Collins in the 98th minute, her second goal of the game, and Rio has just they have not been able to recover, really. I mean, for the Rio Rapids, if you're them, you really felt that you probably had the game in hand, and then in the 88th minute, Natalie Reynolds put home a beautiful shot, right-footed shot that found the back right corner of the net and just really killed the Rio Rapids momentum. And ever since then, La Roca has had the momentum on their side. Here's Avery Collins, Playing it to Natalie Reynolds, far sideline. Reynolds crosses it over. Looking to potentially cross in. Now bottled up by a couple of Rio defenders. Now here's Roca playing it in, knocked out. Now here's Eden Jacobson off the rebound. Jacobson tries to cross it over. Mariah Baker sends it out of the box. And now Rio, they play it upfield. A header by Sabrina Ruiz, but she sends it right to LaRocca. And now Lisa Stowe sends it back upfield. Battle for possession. Will Rio be able to find some kind of answer here? Here's Sabrina Ruiz. Ruiz trying to slide tackle it ahead, and another LaRocca player has gone down. And I think that is Lisa Stowe, who has gone down for LaRocca. An aggressive play by Rio. It looked clean, but Stowe must have just taken the brunt of the slide tackle by Sabrina Ruiz. And Lisa Stowe is up, and it appears that she may be okay, as we have a substitution and Elizabeth Crissay checking into the game for Maddie Garlock. Garlock, obviously a exceptional offensive player coming out now, so you have to wonder if LaRocca is potentially looking more to the defensive side of things, as now one of the Rio players I had not noticed, he was on the other end of the field, but Mariah Baker is now coming off the field, and it looks like Baker may be favoring her left knee. So Baker comes off the field in obvious pain, and you hope that she is okay. So with a couple of injuries here in this second period of overtime, you have to guess that there will be some stoppage time added to this final overtime period. We are about 10 minutes in to this second overtime period. So effectively, with stoppage time, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. If you're Rio, you have probably at the most around 8 minutes left in this game. And LaRocca, as a new player just checking in for them. LaRocca has still seemed to be the better team here so far in overtime. And we have a whistle as a couple of players going down. Talia Kennedy just checking into the game for LaRocca. The foul is going to be against Rio. So Lisa Stowe will kick it away for LaRocca. Stowe sends it up towards midfield. It is headed by LaRocca. Now LaRocca will control. Avery Collins, what a game she has. She has it. Nice pass to Crissay. Crissay back to Collins. A give and go. A two-person game as Collins pushing it towards the corner. Now Crissay plays it into the box. It's free. Natalie Reynolds might have a look at it, but Reynolds not able to get on top of it before Rio was there, and then Reynolds thought she was called for a foul, but the refs are just going to let him play. Rio plays it ahead. Now here's Jordan Lacey. Lacey had a chance in the open field, but Lisa Stowe got it out of there quickly. Now LaRocca on the attack. They play it into Avery Collins. Collins attacking from the left side, trying to get open for that left-footed shot. But it looks like Collins lost control. And so it will be Rio ball. Another player getting set to check in for LaRocca. That would be Madison Russell. And now Russell will check in. Russell replacing Christiana Benken. And now another player getting set to check in for Roca. And this time it would be Morgan Tadden, a junior, as Roca back on the attack. Here's Avery Collins. Collins gets into the center of the box, lets a shot rip, but it is way off frame and sails over the goal to the right as well. So it will be possession Rio. Adriana Chavez getting set to send it away. You can hardly imagine how hot it must be for the players out there, as it is already probably in the mid-90s by now, the temperature. And now another substitution coming in for Roca. Morgan Tadden entering the game, replacing Avery Collins. So Collins checks out. She is done. 2 goals for Avery Collins. What a game she has had. Now they play it ahead. Here's Rio. And it's Amelia Byerly. Byerly checked by Elizabeth Crissay, as Rio will play it in. We're in the 14th minute here in this second overtime. I'm guessing that at least 2 minutes of stoppage time will be added, so potentially 3 or 4 minutes left for Rio as they play it ahead. Byerly puts a head on it, gets it to Lacey. Jordan Lacey trying to get around the edge on Taya Kennedy, and Kennedy is able to make the nice defensive play and knock it away. It will be a throw-in for Lacey. Lacey throws it in. And here's Kennedy. Kennedy, a nice job playing it away defensively, and now Rio will have to start over. Here's Caitlin Acosta. Acosta finds Lacey. Lacey has got to do something right now for Rio. Lacey plays it into the center, dribbles it in, but lost possession, lost control, and it's stolen by Roca. And now the pass intended for Emily Crissay by Eden Jacobson. The pass off the mark, and it's out of bounds, so Rio has it back. Here's Byerly. Byerly attacking from the left side. She's going to try and cross it in. Crosses back over to the right foot. Plays it into the box. It's stopped by Roca, and then Nikki Pittman races to the ball. And the ball goes out of bounds. It may be, no, it's going to be Roca possession. Last touched by Rio. Here's the kick by Pittman. Up at center field. And we have a whistle and a foul against Roca. So it's going to be a free kick for Rio. We'll see if Rio can do something. Becca Mazie. Actually, not Mazie. Dominique Rivera will send the free kick in for Rio. A 2-person wall for Roca. Can Rio capitalize? Rivera sends it in. The ball's up in the air on the ground, but it's picked up by Pittman. A nice save by Nikki Pittman. And time is running out for the Rio Rapids, as you have to wonder if we're into stoppage time already. Here's Mazie. Mazie gets it to Byerly. Byerly attacking the middle. Byerly stops, tries to pull back, has it stolen away, but Lacey picks it up. Lacey sends a shot in, and Pittman is right there for the save. It just seems like the attempts right now by the Rio Rapids are not breaking through this Roca defense. But once again, they will try. Caitlin Acosta sends it up into the air as Jordan Lacey went up to head it. Lacey goes to the ground and is still there as Roca pushes it back the other way. Here's Morgan Tadden. Tadden working with it along, or right in the right corner, the near side corner. And we have a whistle, potentially another injury stoppage. Jordan Lacey, is back on her feet. Seems a bit dazed. as we are at a standstill. Lacey came over to the official and talked to him for just a moment. It appeared that she said her neck was in pain, but she's going to continue playing. 3-2. The Roca potentially just moments away from an incredible comeback, which included a goal in the 88th minute to tie this game, and then a 98th minute rebound goal by Avery Collins, her second of the game and fourth of the tournament. Here's Eden Jacobson. Jacobson plays it into the box. She's got a shot on goal right into the arms of Adriana Chavez. A good look by Jacobson. Chavez sends it away. And now here's Ruiz. Ruiz, far sideline. Crosses it in to Byerly. Byerly, a header. It goes by Pittman, but it's not on frame to the right, wide of the... And it's out of bounds. And they have just blown the whistle, and that is it. La Roca has defeated the Rio Rapids, their first Region 4 championship, and they have punched their ticket to the region or to the national championships, which will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That is it. What a game. La Roca with a 3-2 win. Once again, the recap, especially in the second half, a 1-1 tie at half. The Rio Rapids took the advantage in the 60th minute when Becca Mazie fired a shot in. And then in the 88th minute, the assist from Maddie Garlock, Natalie Reynolds fired a bullet into the goal to tie things up in the 88th. And in the 98th minute, Avery Collins off a rebound, an empty goal. She put it in to break the tie and the 3-2 win. That is the final. We're going to take a break, but coming up after this, the U18 Boys Championship, FC Golden State White versus LVSA. Got a great game coming up, so stay with us right here on Turbo Sports Group. I'm Tom Purvis. Thanks for listening. The U18 Girls Championship, the Far West Regional obviously there, and they will go to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the national championship. And now we have an absolute gem of a game now between LVSA out of Las Vegas, Nevada, LVSA 97 Red. They're the champions in the Far West region. They won it last year. They will be taking on FC Golden State White. FC Golden State White, they are in the black uniforms, and LVSA, they are in the white uniforms. And the teams will be coming to the field, or LVSA will be coming to the field here in just a moment, and FC Golden State White in just a moment. We're going to take one quick break, but we will be back after this as we are just about set to get this game underway. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Turbo Sports Group, Capri Sun, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual Insurance, Mango.org, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, Olive Garden, Sports Authority, and Wilson Trophy Company. Hey, we're back here in Boise, Idaho, and just to give you a little bit of an idea about this matchup, obviously you have the two with FC Golden State White. They won the Far West Regional Championship in 2013. LVSA won it last year. So what more can you ask for in the Far West Regional Championship in 2015 than the two most recent champions in that region matching up against obviously a great game today. Now, FC Golden State White is led by Gabriel Costa. He is the leading goal scorer, tied for the lead most goals in this tournament. Costa is a very solid player, has scored 9 goals in the tournament. You also have Jesus. He has scored 5 goals in the tournament. So you got two very good goal-scoring teams, two very good goal-scoring players there in FC Golden State White. And then you have 3 players who have scored at least 4 goals for LVSA. So expect a high-scoring affair today as we get things underway. Austin Manthe plays it back to his goal. Now they play it forward, and the ball crosses the touchline, and FC Golden State will throw it in.